Now this is actually our community house for the society that we set up 2 years ago. We are quite active in that sense. We have our language classes every week, twice a week in fact. And then we have also our heritage walks as and when. Usually I do it for students, for heritage groups. And then we also have our garden day every Tuesday. So we talk to plants, but we don't sleep with them. We talk to plants. And we just had a session, very beautiful, very informative, very educational by one of our members called Kristang Language. He's well versed into the scientific names, the herbal properties, the soil, you know, material you need to use for optimum growth. So we do that. We also have our program, which is upcoming. We have the Winds and the Smells of Christmas program. We do Christmas cards. We get children to come to participate, to draw, to paint, and we send it out to our members. Last time we did cards, which was a bomb. We had to spend out to send. This year we'll do postcards, which is cheaper and standard price, $2 I think. And we have also the Smells of Christmas. We do open air baking, pineapple tarts, sasagong. So it's all hands-on. I will maybe share you our chat group if you wish to come in. Then you can be in tune of what we do. And then our main focus now is this program today. And after this is our fundraising on the 25th of October, which will be held at the PPCM, Pusat Pendidikan Cina Melaka premise. And then, yeah, that is our focus for this year, besides the Smells and the Winds of Christmas program. Within the Smells and Winds of Christmas program, we also have caroling practice. We do caroling for the needy, we go and do caroling for the sisters in the 2 convents. And yeah, and maybe to some very special people who finance the whole thing. So we get an power, we give to the poorer people. Okay, that is our program basically. And next year we are planning an international conference, which is scheduled for San Pedro, 29th of June. Now that focus is actually to talk about the Kristang identity, basically, because we among ourselves cannot really understand what is Kristang, or the variations of Kristang, the term Kristang. See, just a short one. Kristang can be Papia Kristang as the language, you speak the language. JNT Kristang, community, and you can also say yourself as Kristang Dari, meaning a Christian. So many people are confused. The word Kristang literally means Christian. So we have to get this thing settled once and for all, get scholars, educationalists to come and talk about this word Kristang, where it actually is our understanding, and it should be a consensus. Because always there's this field, why you say we are talking Kristang, how can we be speaking Christian? We forget, linguistic, reference is, Kristang means language, community, and religion. That term that word can be used for 3 different terms. So anyway, cutting it short. So thank you again for coming, and I pass you to our MC, more or less, to do introduction to our 2 very important distinguished guests. Thank you very much. Okay.
Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
And welcome to this launch of book. And number 6, Praya Lane, which is our community house here. It's my pleasure to introduce to you, on my right here, J.K. Asher, who is a published author and living in Australia. This, I believe, is the 2nd book that she has authored. So we look forward to a briefing on the book in the short part from her. Then we also have here our distinguished friend, Dr. Sheila De Costa, who is a lawyer and the president of the Selangor and Central Territory Eurasian Association. She has strong connections to our community here, in that some years ago contacts were made and they've grown stronger and stronger, and we welcome her back to Melaka again today.
Give a hand.
Very nice. So, it's my pleasure now to invite Asher to speak on this.
Who would like to start? You, sir.
Hello everybody, if you just relax and get seated, it might just, we want it today to be Sheila and I an agreement that it's got to be a time that we all get to know each other. We're going to ask each of you to just say 2 or 3 words about, 2 or 3 sentences about yourselves. And it's such an utter privilege for Sheila and I, especially Sheila, because you know, there's no one person who represents everyone. There's in art and writing and literature, it's called the everyman. When you write a story, every man should say, that's my story. And it was very hard to find the everyman in Melaka and the Portuguese and the Eurasian story. Sheila's great-grandfather on her mother's side goes to the British residency in Sarawak. And on her father's side comes to Portuguese settlement, where the De Costa name is found in the annals of the captains who came after 1511. So it goes very far back, and that's why I enjoyed writing the story. But before we jump into that, I think we just welcome all of you here, because it's not about us, it's about you. So we've heard from Martin, who lives here. Let's ask you a little bit about yourself, 2, 3 sentences.
Sorry about that.
No, we're just going to pass the story.
Oh,
We
okay.
know about you, so we're just going to go to the next person. I've got someone. And if you can each, you know, a minute or two, just so jealousy.
Good morning, I'm Helen. I'm T. My husband is actually Malaysian, so my father is Filipino, mother Malaysian. So I'm just American. So I'm just living 2 doors away. I actually was brought up in Melbourne. So when I was 17 years old, I found my parents. 17 years old, I found my parents. No, from home. 16 years old, my parents. So 1 year I stayed outside. I went to Malaysia. Then I went to my father. Then after 2 years, I came back here to work.
Yes, thank you. And please take photographs of all the people. Thank you, very lovely. We'd like to hear from Sheila's mother, Sheila.
Well, I'm Sheila's mom, and my surname before was Shirley Mount. I'm sure you heard of the priest, what's his name? Aloysius Mount. That's my relative. And I only have one daughter, that's Sheila. I'm from Sarawak, by the way.
I'm Tan Boon Kiong, a retiree, locally born, just interested in whatever Melaka history, anything about
Thank you for
Melaka.
being here one day. You don't have to stand up, you know.
I'm Audrey, and I'm like born and bred. I'm a retired teacher. And I taught Aloysius and Monica, so
I didn't catch your name.
Audrey.
Audrey.
Thanks, Audrey.
Hi, I'm Jo.
Josephine Chua.
Josephine Chua, okay. I'm a heritage busybody. Me and my son's father, that man there, we were involved in restoration of many old buildings, the mission schools and temples, things like that. So my family's been here since 1760.
wow.
Yeah, so that's my cousins. So I love anything. Thank you for everything.
I'm Colin Goh, and I'm
The famous.
retired public servant. But I think I just became a bit more famous after retirement, in the sense that for 13 years I was the manager of 8 Lane Street, which was restored by Pada Luaisa Malaysia, and these two were also strongly involved in that project actually. So we are very fast friends here. So I like to promote Melaka as far as possible, because we have lots of history here actually. And every person and place here has a story to tell. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Martin.
I'm Stephen Lawrence. I am from New York, but I live here in Melaka. I've been studying food history of Melaka and Malaysia, and specifically looking at some of the Portuguese influence on the development of kue bakar. And so looking at that. And my children also study ukulele here in the Portuguese settlement.
I'm Edwin Sim. I used
Lucky
to,
boy of kampung.
yeah, I used to stay just behind.
Biasa?
Yeah, I used to stay just behind here. Used to play
Tell me
here.
your story.
So this is my community growing up here by the sea. And later on in life, I went out to sea as a sea captain. And now retired from that.
Thank you. Gentleman outside.
Oliver. No, just say a bit of a few words.
Oliver.
Mr. Oliver.
Oliver, please.
Yeah. Oliver is a born bred Tara
Veteran.
Yeah.
of Melaka, of Praya Lane.
Thank
Still
you,
very
Oliver.
passionate.
I only
Very supportive.
thank you for welcome to Praya Lane.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Oliver.
Okay, my name is Karen. I won't stand up. I'll sit here. I was born and bred here for 19 years. I went to CHIJ, but the rest of the time since then I was in Hong Kong and Lebanon. So I just returned to Melaka 3 years ago, and I was stranded in Lebanon during COVID, and I got to know this beautiful writer, Asha, in Singapore recently, and I came here to support her.
Thank you.
Thank you for support.
Friend for the Melaka
Joseph.
folk.
Dawson, Melaka born limited edition or special edition. The late Joan Marbet was my auntie. I think he can attest to the fact that she has written a number of books on the Kristang culture, and I think a lexicon to boot.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a privilege to have you here, and we honor Joan Marbach.
Joan is in the book.
We had lunch after.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
Welcome. Josie, is it?
Me, Joseph Dawson.
Joseph. I don't know why I heard it as Josie. Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph.
I'm Francisco, a lawyer and a colleague friend of Sheila. Okay, and I'm also Melaka born, staying next to the neighborhood of Portuguese.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mani Meghalai, Mani for short. I'm a retired teacher. I was teaching for 37 years. I'm actually not from Melaka, I'm a Seremban girl. And what I share with Malakans is the love of history. And my love of history is growing day by day. I started off with Indian history because I am Indian, but it's Southeast Asia, that is. And I went as I went exploring and further and further, I found out that I'm living right here in the hot pot of history.
My name is Balveer and my nickname is Billo. That's what my sisters and my aunties, uncles call me. Bred and born in Ipoh, shifted to Melaka, I think was already more than 30 years, and I really love Melaka. And I love gardening. Taking care of my three beautiful grandchildren in the house.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning. I'm Gurjit. In short, you may call me Jit. I connect myself very much with Melaka, though I was out of Melaka for about 20 odd years for work. Then I'm back. And Mr. Martin, I would like to avail myself to help build up the Praya Lane. I always think it is Pyara Lane. You know, in Punjabi, Pyara is love lane.
You have actually a kissing lane.
And in school, I always get, whenever I go to my teacher, my name is Gurjit. Kenapa nama you Gurjit? Muka you tara macam Gurjit pun macam orang Serani.
Welcome.
So I'm always there. So here I am availing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
high-tech farming sort of thing. So I think
Yeah.
sorry, I
Thank
don't
you.
really know what.
High-tech farm.
I'm going to stand up because I feel comfortable standing up. Now, when Sheila and I wrote this book, it was about her little journey of getting a piece of land in Kuala Lumpur for the Selangor Eurasian Association. And it was a very big journey because they had a fabulous piece of land which the government under UDA rampas, they stole it, they grabbed it, they took it, and that land was worth billions. And these little guys, this Eurasian Association, Safti, were left with nothing, and they had to fight and fight and fight over the decades. And when God placed Sheila, there's a timing for everything. There are many hands that would have come and tried to help, but Sheila availed herself as president, and her husband, who's also a lawyer, stood up with a Chinese man and saw that, like you said, the inheritance, the heritage of his children, like what Bilo just said, about having grandchildren and passing on an inheritance like you, the ukulele. So they went into this battle with the authorities. So this book, A Light Home, actually while it talks about the Eurasians in Selangor finding a place to call their own, because when the ethos of the Eurasians depends on their spirituality, their education, which is the Lassallean education. Spirituality is of course Christian, Catholic, and then their food, their sports, and having a club to come and say this is our home. When the club was taken away, there's some geniuses like Dato Augustine from Penang and Anthony Siebert, they said, we need that land. What Sheila was doing instinctively and viscerally trying to get a piece of land was to fulfill what these giants, these godfathers of the faith had talked about. So this book is about a light home, but today in Praya Lane, today here, Sheila and I feel a certain, like a shiver down our backs, because this is a very, very humble place. And we had a big launch in Kuala Lumpur when we put the photos, we all dressed up in our finery and our silks, you know. But this is where, this is the real launch, because this is where it began.
Thank you.
And we really feel there's a lady called Amanda, she'll be here. She's supposed to come early, she will pray for us at the end. We can't not end in prayer, because when the Portuguese, so this A Light Home is here. This is our light home, because when the Portuguese came in 1511, they came for gold, glory, and the gospel, God. So we will end with prayer, but let me now quickly jump a little bit into why I wrote this. It's wonderful having you all here, Mabek's nephew, and then Rujit giving me a place to stay, and below, thank you, because this is a God work. We're not wasting time, you know. I'm 71. I only have a 1 hour, an hourglass. Today I'm giving this place a grain of my sand, because God will increase it. Take the book back to New York, talk about the book, take it everywhere. But this book, while it starts in Sheila's history, before I give over to Sheila and ask her her vision, because I wrote the words. She's not a woman of many words, she's a woman of action. I thought she will write. She, yes. That will, yes, thank you. But Sheila and her husband put their money where their mouth is. They have invested a huge They fought for a land, they got a piece of land, and they are going to put their money into starting this work. Their money, they're putting it. Not because she wants a name, but because the Eurasians need to find a light home. And as Mani said, if you take the Eurasians away from us, where do we start? Where do we start? We don't have a beginning, you know? It's like the Big Bang Theory. Where do we start? But before I hand over to Sheila, I just want to say how really utterly sad and gutted I am at the division among the Eurasians, the Portuguese Eurasians, any name you want. They're divided. They don't like each other. It's all about me, me, me. If you don't know it, the Portuguese Eurasians do not like the Eurasians from Penang. They don't like the Eurasians from Selangor, because when the Dutch came in 1641 and slaughtered us, you ran away. You all ran away to Junk Ceylon, to Phuket. You ran away, you ran, you never looked at us. So there's this huge anger and judgment call, and it so breaks my heart, because if you all don't get together and say goodbye to Portuguese settlement 50 years from now, 50 years from now you will just be a swamp. Please quote me. I want you all to quote me, because Portuguese settlement is dying because the people are fighting among themselves. So with that rather sad note, I'll hand over to Sheila, who will talk about her vision and everything that she and her husband, and especially she has also been regarded with great suspicion. You want something from us, you want to take something, you want your name, it's all in there. The dividedness, and this has to be the story, the power of one. Each of us has the power of one. So please stand up. And now I'm to introduce Sheila, an ordinary woman who had the courage to believe in the power of one. My friend and someone who I admire very greatly, Sheila De Costa. She's a dato, but because we're in a very humble place and there's no need for titles, Sheila De Costa. Please put your hands together.
Thank you. I will sit down. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm really in awe that everybody is interested in us, interested in people like Martin and myself. My father and my grandfather are obviously Melaka born. My father is also from SFI, but he went to Kluang to seek his fortune, my grandfather. Those who know him actually know him as Uncle Ali. In those days, that was why he's known. And what I remember about him, his name is Benedict De Costa, but I don't think anybody ever calls him that, was that he used to have a lot of $1, those days you call it dollar, $1 in his pocket, tens of it, I don't know how much because I was small. And when he went to the settlement, he used to give out to all the kids, and when they found that he was there, they were all right. I remember that story about him. And for many years, I did not want to know. Okay, you will read the book. Caused me a lot of grief and shame and whatever it was, and you know the things people question you about yourself, and this is how I felt at the time. Why? And when I'm in Kuala Lumpur, please don't think that, oh, Kuala Lumpur, she's doing very well. No, because I am not a Eurasian from Peel Road. You need to be from Peel Road, Kuala Lumpur to qualify to be in the Eurasian Association there. Oh, where is she from? Meaning me. We don't know her. She's not from Peel Road. You know, that was where the enclave was. So even even among my own people, so to speak, I was ostracized because I was not from Peel Road. I'm from Johor. I actually was born in Johor because my grandfather and my father in Kluang specifically. So I was born there. And you know, in Kuala Lumpur, they ostracize you, and you think with such a name like yours, you should be able to qualify, so to speak. No, I'm not from Peel Road, I'm not from don't know what other road they have around there, which is so you don't belong, and they always want to know where you're from. And why do we have this thing about where you're from? And as a lawyer, Francis, when I used to go to court those days, you know, there's some lawyer will tell me, "Oh, Sheila, I went to your hometown." I said, "Oh, you went to Johor?" I said, "No, I went to Melaka." I said, "Actually, I'm not born in Melaka." So I think because of my name, I must be from Melaka. "Oh, we went to your hometown." Okay, so I have very lovely memories of Melaka, and my mom is a Sarawak Eurasian, and I think hers is more British. I think she's descended from the British resident. I think it's like 3rd generation, so you can actually trace. This lady here is her grandmother, Julia Phillips. She's the daughter of the British resident in Sarawak. So I'm connected both ways. I'm here and there, so both ways I've got lots of relations even in Sarawak. But what actually disappointed me was I also invited, I'm related to a lot of the Lopezes in Portuguese settlement. Oliver is my second cousin. Adrian Denker is also a second cousin. Raymond Leslie, I know all the father because my grandmother is a Lopez. She is Jane Lopez, related to Donald and all that. So I have so many relatives there. What is very, very disappointing was I invited them here and they didn't come. So, you know, not even for family will they do that. I'm just saying, okay? Why I wrote the book? I think I wrote the book so that people know that you can actually fight the powers that be. And even if you're alone, you just go on. They took away the Selangor Eurasians. We had land on which we sat for 60 years. We even predate Malaysia. 1953, we moved into Jalan Pudu. Those of you who know where Jalan Pudu is. 60 years we were there, and then they kicked us out in 2013. Exactly 60 years. And we're left with nothing and say you don't deserve anything because, you know, you're just squatting here. So, it happened when I was the president. Actually, I had other plans in mind, but in the end, we took court action because talking to them doesn't work. If you want to go visit the ministers and all, they will acknowledge you, they will give you coffee, tea, lovely cakes, everything, but it doesn't work. As they wine and dine our previous presidents. They came for all our functions, all the meanwhile trying to pull the carpet under us. And one day they just came and said 30 days. After 60 years, they tell you get out in 30 days. The place now is actually called Lalaport, where the Pudu jail is. That is our spot. The other day I went there and I looked and my husband said, "Why are you looking?" I'm like, wow, we could have done that 30,000 square foot piece was where we sat for 60 years. But we had been fighting for a piece of land since 1934. And you know the Sikh Union, the Punjabis, they call it SSC, they were given a plot at the same time, but they were smart enough. I remember speaking to the president of the Sikh Union at that time, and he said, we build a shack also, never mind. And that is how, if you've ever been to Club Aman in Kuala Lumpur, got this lovely place. I think the government are eyeing it because it's so beautiful. We were granted Maxwell Road, but our people were more happy to say, "Oh, we can't afford to build, we'll wait." So this is what actually happened. It's not that they didn't want to give, it was just that you did not grab it by the horns. So in the end, the UDA, which is our Urban Development Authority, did not want to give us anything. So we took them to court and said, "Tell us all your secrets as to what is it that, how did you get this plot and all that." and then they caved in. Of course, out of the 30,000, we only got 10,000, but we didn't have to pay for it, so that was really, really good. So we are now in the midst of building, and of course, trying to get money is very, very hard. So I think my dear husband said, let's try, and we put in most of the money, so we are trying to build. Not enough, but you know, we are still trying to build. We've already got the building plan. So the reason, as Martin said, there's a lot of, among our people, and I call them my people, a lot of argument as to whether we're Kristang, Serrani, Eurasian, Portuguese, Eurasian, Dutch, Anglo-Indian. I could go on. And actually we're all the same kind of people. And to me, I'm not a writer, I'm not a philosopher, I don't think, I'm more of a doer. So I intend to build this building, and the light room can mean anything. It means that any of you, if you come to KL, you will feel that you have somewhere to go. It will be, in Pudu, when we were in Pudu, KL, we have people coming from US, Australia, and then they say, oh, you know, my mom was from wherever, Malacca, Singapore, can we come in? It is a place to call home. Everyone is welcome there, and nobody judges anyone. So you come in and you can join people for conversation. I mean, Martin has been there many a time. And so basically, the story was supposed to be about my fight for the land, but when I spoke to Asha, she goes, no, you got to say all sorts of things. So in the end, it became a story about me. Actually, I'm a very ordinary person, but she has somehow sort of weaved it into something interesting. So basically, and we also thank Mani for, you know, we came to Melaka to look at things and things like that. So what I'm trying to say is, it's about our fight for the land, but it can also be your fight, because there's the convent school, there's even the settlement, the lease is going to end, and a 30-day notice will come, you know. 30 days, you know, it will come. They're just waiting for the right time. And they don't give you time. They say 30 days, how can we move after 60 years? You know? So it's an everyman story, but it could happen even here. Because I believe those are leasehold, and if they're expiring not very long, you know, one year goes into 2 years very quickly. So in the end, we fought. Visiting ministers, I can tell you, they will wine and dine you, say yes, and you go back and it doesn't work. You've got to fight them because they do not like it. So I thank God, if we believe in providence. My husband was a lawyer. He did land matters. That was the thing. He did land acquisition. So he told me, we can do this. This is what I do every day. It's my work. Let's do this. Which is why we went on and we got it. So if you all have any questions, so
no, just we want to thank Michael Singh-Ho, who lives here, and he was wonderful. It's in the book. We interviewed the people. It's something in a nutshell for someone who wants to know. We cut everything, but the last thing we want to say together is that your land in this area, talking to the Portuguese, is under siege. In a short while, they'll want it for this and want it for that, you know. And please stand up. Please stand up, each of you.
And you can make a difference. We can, basically, it's to tell everyone we can make a difference. So in the end, it was just meant to be a document to say how we got the land, but in the end it became a whole different story, thanks to her wonderful storytelling. So, yes, so I think, any questions?
Questions, anything you want to ask us, please feel free to ask us.
Okay, Okay, who we've got in the book? We've got Joan Marbach, who is like Melaka. We've got Dr. Anthony Siebert, who is Penang. So we're trying to represent everyone. We've got my mom because she's Sarawak Eurasian, and we've got Vernon Penang also, and Melaka we've got Michael, and yes, so Derek Surin, Kuala Lumpur basically. No, he's Ipoh, but we tried to get a whole thing.
You have Celine Marbach as well.
No, we didn't get Celine because I think she couldn't.
She's just the cuisine, the Kristang cuisine.
Yes.
Is this the first book about Portuguese?
No, it isn't. No. It isn't. I think Joan Marbach wrote. It's been, so many people have written. Brian Santa Maria, what's his brother? Joseph Santa Maria.
Joseph Santa Maria. We've all, so many people have written, but they can't seem to come to any kind of agreement and kindness and cooperation.
So I'll leave the fight to the semantics to all the others. I will build the buildings for everyone to come. That is what I can do, and I should do whatever is within my capability.
Basically on our part, when we set up this association, I mean, we were inclusive. So basically, like what you are saying, we are very divided, yes. We see that that is actually our greatest threat to our own survival. That's why when we started the society, we had representatives from Praya Lane, number one. We had representatives from Kampung Portuguese and Ujung Pasir, the main areas where the community live. So basically, at the same time, we also want to reach out to Penang Eurasian, Selangor Eurasian, even to Sarawak Eurasian, Singapore Eurasian, Mecca. We want to try at least to connect to sports first, what they used to have before. So Simon Bonaventura, he's into that. So he's very supportive of our work. And definitely after he stays a year or so, if he's done with his work in Redang or in Tioman, he'll want to come and do this. So that will be actually the society's aim, to try to at least link all these various communities to sports at least. And then yes, we can maybe have a conference, maybe some get together kind of thing, which I think is important because at the end of the day, we cannot remain how we have always been, so divided, so going our own ways. But I remember during the land quest when we visited a leader in Perak, I think it was at Olivero. He said one thing that really, after today I remember. United we fall, divided we stand. That's what I said. I think this guy find it married to Australia because he feels as long as we are together, we start fighting. When we are not together, we can do our own thing. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how he look at things. Divided we fall, united we fall, divided we stand.
I wanted to ask you something. I have intuition, I have very strong intuition. Doing something doing a cooking program. And while the locals are busy fighting, the chiefs are fighting, do something, get some people to sponsor a Portuguese cooking, get a documentary done, send it to New York, send it wherever, send it to Sydney, you know. That's the kind of thing that we say, this is our community. People from all over. The local chiefs will say no. We don't want the Red Indians. So that's one area for you. Gulji, you are, the food, the cooking. She's a wonderful baker. She's a wonderful person who cooks well. If there's something you can do with him and promote, please do. Whatever you can do to promote Portuguese settlement, whatever, how it influences us, has impact.
Okay, the other thing is, those of you here, please don't think too much bad. We are actually, as a Portuguese Eurasian, Serrani, or whatever we call ourselves, we are actually articulate, we are witty, we know how to laugh at ourselves. These are our very, very good points. We love to enjoy ourselves. While people might say that that's a bad thing, it's not a bad thing. It's being happy. We make the other people happy. So these are our good points, and we do like to fight. So it's just that we need to bring them to the right forum to fight. Then you can fight very effectively. Yes. So these are all the good points. Yes.
I have a quick question. I was reading the book before I came, and I didn't finish, but I got to the point where you talk about your childhood experiences that were here in the Portuguese settlement that were really negative,
yes,
and that you ran away.
Yes, that was why I ran away.
I just got to the part where you ran away, and I was wondering, can you mention a little bit of, did you ever come back? Did you ever change your view after?
Okay.
Does the story have a happy ending?
Yes, it does. Actually, when I was young, we used to come a lot to the Portuguese settlement, and I loved all the little celebrations. Although my grandfather loved it a lot, so I loved it a lot too. There were negative things that happened to me during my teenage years there, and I was ashamed. I was disgusted. All those words you can. And every time they used to mention me or mention Portuguese settlement, I would feel very low because of those experiences. So those are real experiences. They're not made up. And the thing about it was, I met this wonderful Chinese boy then who seemed to encourage it because he was fascinated by the whole thing. He had never met one in his life, meaning me, and he thought that I was interesting. Well, Francis would know because he studied with us all as well, and he encouraged. He's like, "Oh, what is this you eat? Seba, what is that? Oh, there's pig's ears. I love those pig's ears." So it sort of got me back into the because I also left the church for many years. I never went into a church. Believe me, I never went into a church for a very long time because the whole thing just got me wrong. Okay, it just got me wrong. And he encouraged it because he was interested. So when he was interested, he sort of peeped and like, okay, I could do this, you know. And because I studied in a town called Batipahat in Johor, which is not very far from here, I was the only others, lion. And because it's a very small town, there's just Malay, Chinese and Indians. There's no others. The clerk used to come and see me every year, which category you want to be put in. I said, I'm not in any category. I still like to fight even then. Because no, we need to put you in one because we don't have any other category. So he says, I just put whatever I like. He said, well, you do whatever, but I'm not. But you see, it was racism to me throughout my school years when my father was in the government service. So from Kluang, where there were many of us in a class, you could get 3 or 4, which is actually a lot, to Johor Bahru, where you also could get a lot. To Batu Pahat, there's zero of people who look like me, who talk like me. So they're all so interested. They're like, come and look at you, laugh and run away. In the end, most of them became my good friends, and they protect me. But what I'm trying to say, it was hard. So with my husband, I came back. And then I joined the Selangor Eurasian Association and slowly got my way until now I'm very into it. So basically that's the end of the story.
I'd like to just elaborate a bit. When I was in school, the Eurasians were the most interesting people to me. Because I was a naughty girl in school. I was a girl that, just read books and loved enlightenment, looking for all the different people. So we grew up with Eurasians in Sarawak with my father. Then when I was in school, I had Eurasian friends, and the fastest runners in school were Sybil O'Hara. You name the top athletes, the smart girls, the head girls who spoke brilliant English were the Eurasians. I don't know, Mani, if you remember, but Anna Adima, this and that, and I just was so intrigued by them and wanted to know about their mindset, but they were regarded as a bit loose, a bit immoral because they were from the western side. They were the western influence, so they were the girls who like to party, like to drink, and there was this shame over them that they were of loose character. But I didn't see this loose character. I loved them. I loved their madness and loved it. So what many people felt about the Eurasians was that, gee, I wish they get a grip on their girls, you know, a lot of marriages outside of wedlock, a lot of stuff was happening. But for a Eurasian, I'm sure that was a lot to handle in school because they also call them grago. Grago means shrimp. And we always call Eurasians gragos. I remember saying, oh, he's a grago. But it's a derogatory term. It means that they breed like anything. And there's so many of them because they played on the fact that they were shrimp farmers. So there was not a good connotation, and I knew that already, but when I met Sheila, I said, oh, one of my gang, huh?
Okay, the other thing I'd like to, how I've come to terms with the term grago, is that grago is actually krill, you know. So now I tell everyone, hey, you all are taking all this krill as vitamins. It's a wonderful thing. That's us, and so it's a good thing. So we have the krill, we have the good vitamins, and so everything can have a positive spin to it.
Yes.
And now I have grown to love, you know, my people. I'm not shy of them. I'm not ashamed of them. You just look for the good points, and there are so many. Look at what Martin is doing, and look at what everybody else is doing. We work hard. We are diminishing. We are not cared by anyone. So you know, just to give everybody hope. This book is also about hope. You know, it's about hope. Yes.
You like it, enjoy it, finish it.
Yes. Maybe you got to the part where you know. Yes.
I've got a complimentary book for you for my first book.
I have a question. Would you say that, or consider the Eurasians to be their own worst enemies? The internecine rivalry or civil war? After a fashion.
You know, if one trusts in the Almighty, you will see that out of every bad thing is a good thing. So there is always positive. Leaders are always raised. And it's actually, even in Selangor, we have really good men, but sometimes they couldn't take the onslaught of the politics. I am one, because I'm married to a guy, our house motto is don't give up. So on the days that I was ostracized, even by the Selangor Eurasian, they wanted me to resign because they didn't like me at all. I used to sit in my car, because the door was closed to the Kudu Club, dress up, turn up, and before I open the door, I'll go smile, and I walk in like nothing happened, and I stayed on until, in the end, they voted me in, and I actually failed 3 times, you know. And anyone else would have, they thought she'll give up. I didn't. I think, Martin, you were at some of the elections. I lost. Sometimes lost by a lot, and they will cheer when you lose, you know. They will go, yay! And you know how it makes you feel deep down inside? Then I'll still go around, hi, how are you? But inside, I'm like dying, and then she said, oh, you cried. I said, I never cried in front of anyone. I told her that I don't do those things. So it might not seem that I did anything particularly brave, but you know, turning up after 3 times being defeated was not easy. And they don't like you. When you come in, it's she's back, you know, I'm sure that's the and yet I'll go, hi, hello, how are you, you know. It wasn't easy, but you know, and I think in the end, we've already got the approval of our city hall for the building plan. I've put in my own money. It's not sufficient, but it's a substantial sum, which we can at least start.
It's a huge sum. It's not. I couldn't afford it even if I sold my house in Sydney. So let's not minimize that. But I do want to say one thing. You know, this is a story about a woman. One woman who left her family in Sarawak and came. It's very hard to be a pioneer woman. She is one woman. Her husband is very protective of her. People can say, "What, two women here? What are two women doing here?" You know. Sorry, guys, we're living in a modern century. Our husbands trust us. We have our husbands' blessings. Our husbands have said, "Go." Even for the book launch, her husband, who's a judge, couldn't be there in Kuala Lumpur. We are all in a modern era. We're no longer like that. You know, even the women under Jesus, when they hung around Jesus, "Hey, where's your father? Where's your mother?" We follow your heart, follow God. This is a story about a woman, one woman, and this is a story about persevering, people laughing at you, people talking about you, but still persevere. Persevere. So I think if there are no more questions, I'd like to honor Sheila De Costa again and say, let's give her a very big hand for her journey.
Anyway, thank you, Martin, for your place. And any other questions about the journey? The journey was not pleasant. Some days you don't want to turn up. But for me, every single meeting I attended, even I didn't like it, I just sat there.
I just want to add to that. You know, we are trying to protect our rights with the Muslim Parliament, and I don't see hardly any besides Martin who will come up and say support, even though it is Portuguese TV. And I think I mentioned this a few times in the Martin's book. You know.
I think I contacted you when I read the judgment.
It was.
I will try to help you as well.
Right.
Can we close in prayer? I'd like to. Yes.
I was just thinking, because we heard quite a bit about our what I would call we all other sub-ethnic groups actually, Dan Lain-Lain as we put it, you know, and actually everything stems from our history here. You know, as support merchants coming from all over the world, intermarrying, starting new communities, and so on and so forth. And today, the reality on the ground is that in all these sub-ethnic communities, of course, will take their political association.
Writing books from, you have to keep going out there until another leader is raised. I believe they do come up, but you know, you have to, you cannot, you yourself, whatever you do, or obviously contribute, cannot rest. You just have to keep doing, putting it out there. I know you all do walks, and I know you're so involved in the school, and I admire that. And even our New York friend, he's come all the way to help us. There are always people with their, you know, with their gifts, you know. So if you're good at writing, you write books, it will always be there. The difference about our book is that it is on Amazon.com. So actually, we're hoping to put it out there. Put it out there. It won't be a localized, but we hope. That is my goal. So I just want to get it out there. There's ebooks. We also have. Did you get an ebook or something?
I was reading on Google Books.
Oh, Google Books. Parts of it.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. And get the full story.
Asher, I just got news from Pastor Amanda. She came here.
Oh Lord our God, when we see you and we look at you through the eyes of eternity, how wonderful that you brought people from all over the world. You had the Renaissance, you had the Silk Trade, you had Europe come to Asia. Father God, because you are a father to all nations. You are a father to all people. We thank you. We thank you for your love, especially today where we are standing its holy ground upon the Portuguese, Eurasians, Serrani, and their descendants. It doesn't stop. A blessing doesn't stop with one generation. You bless us to 1,000 generations. So we thank you for all those who have gone before us, the De Costas, Father, all those lived experience right now, the Marbacks, Lord, everyone, and those who come alongside, those who have come alongside today to say we'll walk this walk, we'll stand. Bless this land. Let there be no injustice, let mercy and truth meet. And Father, every curse on this land is broken. Every fight for inheritance, the fight of Esau and Jacob for inheritance, for pottage, for a hot meal, they sold their inheritance. Let these people here not sell their inheritance for a hot meal, for luxury. Let them know that you came here and you planted your feet on this soil, and through you, grace and the light has come to this part of the world. So we thank you for our forebears. We thank you for those who are going to go forward. We thank you for Sheila De Costa. We thank you for Colin. We thank you for Martin, those who will carry forward this mark, this walk, Lord. This banner. Let the banner be over this land in love, in kindness, in mercy, and let there be light. Let there be light in this nation. Amen.
Amen.